Good evening, members, and welcome to all those present, including members of the public and press. Before we begin, I need to go over the usual housekeeping rules. There are no fire drills planned for this evening, so if the fire alarm sounds, please leave the building by the nearest exit and assemble in the Queen's Gardens at the front of the building. Please do not re-enter the building until you are advised to do so. Please also ensure your mobile phones have been switched off or set to silent. I welcome those joining us in the public gallery here today and would ask that they follow any guidance and instructions given by anyone seated at the top table. This council meeting is being recorded. The recording will be available on the Borough Council's website. I would like to remind members that the standards of behaviour for meetings set out in the Council's standing orders apply. And as usual, we have set protocols around speaking during this meeting. No member should speak until invited to do so. If you wish to speak, please could I ask that you raise your hand high and keep your hand high until you have been acknowledged. Please, would all members in the room use their microphones whenever they speak, as without them, anyone watching online will not be able to hear you. To use the microphones, please press the button at the front and centre when invited to speak, and wait for a moment for the light on your microphone to come on. Please remember to turn off your microphone once you have finished. Members, in the interests of managing the meeting, please do not approach anyone seated at the top table for advice without first gaining agreement. Should you wish to do so, please raise your hand high. Please could I ask, at the end of the meeting, to make sure that you take all your belongings and any litter with you. Thank you. Agenda item, yeah. I now move to agenda item 1, which members, the first substantive item of business is to elect a mayor for the remainder of this council year. I'm aware of one nomination received for myself, Councillor Betley Smith. Can I request that a member please move the nomination for myself, Councillor Betley Smith? Councillor Simon Tagg.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Yes, I will nominate yourself for the position of Mayor for the remainder of this municipal year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Is that seconded? Councillor Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Yes, I'm happy to second that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sweeney. Are there any other nominations? No. I will now ask the Chief Executive to take a vote.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Members, as Councillor Betley Smith is the only nominee, I will move to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? And any abstentions? Yeah, that's unanimous.
Thank you, members. I'm pleased to formally be elected as Mayor of the Borough of Newcastle-under-Lyme for the remainder of this municipal year. I will now adjourn the meeting for a short period as there's a formality to be undertaken, and I ask that the live feed be stopped. Thank you. Thank you, members, for your patience whilst we did that, which we felt was appropriate in the circumstances that we have. My first duty as Mayor is to affirm my declaration of acceptance of office. I, Robert Betley-Smith, having been elected to the office of Mayor for the Borough of Newcastle-under-Lyme, hereby declare that I shall take the said office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties thereof, according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of the Borough Council of Newcastle-under-Lyme in performance of my functions in that office. Thank you. I will now announce the following appointments. The first appointment which I wish to announce is that of the consort. I, Robert Betley-Smith, hereby appoint Judy Betley-Smith to be my mayoress. The next appointment is that of my chaplain. I, Robert Betley-Smith, hereby reappoint the Reverend Tim Watson to be my chaplain. The final appointment to be made is that of the mace bearers. I, Robert Betley-Smith, hereby reappoint Jenny Otter and Len Martin James to be my mace bearers. Agenda item 2. Working. Agenda item 2 is apologies. Members, Wright, Fox, Hewitt, Barker, Wheeldon, Adcock, Simon Jones, Fear, Allport, Crisp, and Wilkes. Sorry, we've got some technical issues. It's nothing to do with my appointment, I assure you. Just so that everybody's heard it on the live stream, I've received apologies from councillors Wright, Fox, Hewitt, Barker, Wheeldon, Adcock, Simon Jones, Fear, Allport, Crisp and Wilkes. Do we have any further apologies, please? No, thank you. Next item on the agenda is item number 3. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest from any members or officers in relation to any items of business contained within the agenda? Yes, Councillor Holland.
I don't know whether it's appropriate for me to be saying it, but as a member of the planning committee, I think all members of the planning committee should be aware that there's an item on tonight's agenda which refers to applications that have yet to be determined by this authority, and therefore our interest should be noted.
Thank you, Councillor Holland. The monitoring officer has noted that. Musical microphones. Agenda item 4, members, is to approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 19th of March 2025. You will find those minutes on pages 5 to 9 of your agenda. Can the minutes please be agreed? Thank you. Moving to agenda item 5, Mayor's announcements. Members, nobody wishes to become Mayor in the circumstances that have just caused me to be elected as your Mayor. I would like to thank the Chief Executive for enabling me to assume the office of Mayor with a minimum of ceremonial this evening, with the support of members on both sides of the chamber. There is certainly no celebration, and members of my family are not therefore present. I was sad and disappointed not to be able to attend the late Mayor's funeral due to being on holiday in India, and would thank Beatrice for her understanding and kind message delivered via Councillor Whitmore when the funeral arrangements were being planned. For similar reasons, I was unable to pay tribute to Barry at the full council meeting on the 19th of March. However, I was able to host the ball in celebration of the life of Barry on behalf of Beatrice on Saturday, 29th of March, when I was able to give a tribute to Barry, and of course I was able to attend and participate in his memorial service. I would like to thank all those who were involved in the organisation of the funeral and the commemorations. I wish to put on record my great respect for our late friend and fellow councillor Barry Panter, and note that as Mayor, he did an excellent job, both as your first citizen and in chairing our meetings. I was pleased to serve Barry as Deputy Mayor during his mayoral year. Over the year, Judy and I were pleased to become friends with Barry and B, and we were able to attend some events together. I'm very pleased to announce that the charity ball was a great success and raised over £2,200 towards his charity fund. Members, we now turn to the next item of business on this evening's agenda, which is the contract award for Astley Place, Midway Car Park and the Rycroft developments. A copy of the report can be found on pages 11 to 59 of your agenda. Councillor Simon Tagg, will you please now introduce the report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Firstly, could I wish you all the best for your term as Mayor, and also Judy as your Mayoress, and be associated with the comments you just made about the late Barry Panter. We're still all in shock on what has happened there, and thank you for your comments, Just. I'm pleased to introduce the report that outlines the significant milestone in our ongoing efforts to rejuvenate and regenerate Newcastle Town Centre, as we are to agree a contract award for 3 pivotal projects: Astley Place, Midway Car Park and the Rycroft. These projects represent a combined investment of almost £85 million as we commit to create a vibrant, thriving town centre for our community, for residents and for visitors. This investment will not only change the physical landscape of Newcastle-under-Lyme town centre, but bring more people living and working into town and help existing town centre businesses and attract new ones to the high street in the longer term. Astley Place, which is former York Place, as everybody knows, the partial demolition has paved the way for this new development, retaining the existing concrete frame, re-engineering the modern commercial and residential purposes, and opening up the area between Merrill Street and Iron Market. The new development will feature 33 one-bedroom apartments, 9 two-bedroom apartments, and over 11,000 square feet of commercial space, including hopefully a live music venue courtesy of Jules Bury. Midway Car Park, with the recent opening of the replacement Castle Car Park, we're now ready to repurpose the former Midway Car Park. This site will be redeveloped with approximately 110 apartments using an innovative approach which will see the concrete frame and floors retained, creating 78 one-bedroom apartments and 33 two-bedroom apartments. The development will also include shared facilities such as a gym, mini cinema, residence lounge, and private dining areas, creating modern living space for young professionals, downsizers and families. The Rycroft, this long derelict site, is to become the home for around 330 apartments and an apart hotel, with additional parts of the site earmarked for Aspire Housing and McCarthy Stone. The development will include extensive landscaping, creating a welcoming environment for people entering town for that direction and also for the residents and visitors. There'll be approximately 20 studio apartments, 71 one-bedroom apartments and 41 two-bedroom apartments, alongside extensive shared facilities for residents of the 3 developments. It'll also include a social housing element being provided by Aspire. The financing for the 3 projects and for the developments is structured to ensure cost certainty and minimise financial impact on the council, building on the Future High Streets Fund and Town Deal money as part of the levelling up from the previous Conservative government, allowing us now to progress these projects. A short-term financing model detailed in the report, coupled with a buyback agreement, limits the council's borrowing to the duration of the build phase, thereby reducing interest costs. This approach also transfers the ongoing risk of maintaining occupancy to the operator, ensuring a sustainable financial framework for the developments. These projects are not just about bricks and mortar, they represent a commitment to uplifting the status of Newcastle Town Centre at the heart of the economic and social and community life and leisure life of our borough. The collaboration with Capital & Centric, a national developer known for its social impact and good quality design, ensures that these developments will be assets to our community, driving value and enhancing the experience of our residents. As we move forward, the council continues to work closely with Capital & Centric and Homes England and other stakeholders to ensure the successful completion of these developments. Once the legal agreements and the planning approvals are in place, we'll be ready to embark on the construction phases for the 3 projects. In conclusion, Mr Mayor, the contract award for Astley Place, Midway Car Park and the Rycroft marks a significant step forward in our regeneration efforts for our town. And will all being well, by the end of the year, we will see changes in the town's landscape as our vision for that vibrant, prosperous town centre for all. Again, a town centre for all is a priority we've had for a number of years, and we're beginning to deliver on that now with developments that are taking place already and those which are before us tonight. And working with Capital & Centric, known for their community-based developments, this will ensure that all 3 projects will be completed to the highest standard, bringing new life and energy to our town centre. I urge all members to support this once-in-a-generation opportunity to regenerate our towns with these projects tonight, which will have a massive impact for future generations. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Councillor Stephen Sweeney, would you like to second the recommendations?
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor. I'd be honoured to second the recommendation and reserve the right to speak during the debate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sweeney. Members, we now move to the debate. Would any members wishing to speak please raise their hands high? Yep. Councillor Stubbs.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and my congratulations to you on your appointment. Council, tonight we must discuss maybe the largest financial decision it has taken in recent memory regarding the proposed contract awards for Astley Place, Midway Car Park and the Rycroft developments. These projects represent a significant investment in the future of Newcastle, aiming to rejuvenate our town centre and enhance its role as a vibrant hub for economic, social and community life. While I offer my tentative support for this initiative, it is crucial to weigh both the advantages and potential drawbacks for this decision. Among the positives are the following. The redevelopment of Astley Place, Midway Car Park and Mycroft is poised to inject a new life into our town centre and create a much-needed economic revitalisation by transforming underutilised and deteriorating spaces into a modern residential and commercial area. We can attract new business, residents and visitors, therefore boosting local economic activity. These projects will also provide enhanced urban living through high-quality housing options for young professionals, families and downsizers. The inclusion of amenities such as gyms, residential lounges and commercial spaces will create a more attractive and convenient living environment, fostering a sense of community. The developments are also designed with sustainability in mind, aiming to meet zero carbon standards. By retaining and re-engineering existing structures, we can reduce waste and promote environmentally friendly construction practices. This obviously aligns with our commitment to a greener future. The financial model proposed by Capital and Centric also involves a short-term borrowing, which significantly reduces interest costs compared to long-term borrowing. This approach minimises the financial burden on the council general fund account, making the projects obviously more financially viable. But Mr. Mayor, we must also consider the downsides of the scheme. Despite the advantages of short-term borrowing, there are still inherent financial risks. The council will need to secure substantial funding upfront, and any delays or cost overruns during construction could strain our financial resources. Additionally, the reliance on external grants such as Homes England introduces a level of uncertainty. The redevelopment projects will inevitably cause disruption in the town centre. Indeed, construction activities are already impacting local business, traffic flow, and the overall enjoyment of the town's amenities. Effective communication and management must be and is essential to mitigate these disruptions. Given the current and future market uncertainty, the success of these developments hinges on market demand for the new residential and commercial spaces. Fluctuations in the property market or changes in economic conditions could affect occupancy rates and rental values, potentially impacting the long-term viability of these projects. Once completed, the developments will require effective management by Capital and Centric to ensure they remain attractive and well maintained. The council must be prepared to address any operational challenges that arise, including maintaining high occupancy rates and ensuring the developments meet the needs of Newcastle residents and businesses. Finally, may I return to the financial matters? As stated, the financial model proposed by Capital and Centric involves the council borrowing funds for the duration of the construction period only, approximately 2 to 3 years. This short-term borrowing approach reduces interest costs significantly compared to the traditional long-term borrowing and allows the council to avoid the minimum revenue provision, it's easy for me to say, which is the capital repayment element of the PWLB borrowing. Instead, the developments will be sold to Capital and Centric upon completion, repaying the loan and associated interest. This model shifts the long-term financial and operational risks from the council to the developer, ensuring the council's financial exposure is minimised. However, it is important to note that while the council will produce 3 valuable projects for the community, this will also result in the loss of ownership of 3 sites. Consequently, our asset base will shrink, which will impact the council's long-term financial flexibility and asset portfolio. This reduction in assets should be carefully considered in the context of our overall strategic objectives and future financial planning. In conclusion, Mr. Mayor, while the proposed contract awards for Astley Place, Midway Car Park and Rycroft developments offer numerous benefits, it is essential we all proceed with caution. By carefully managing the financial, operational and market risks, we can absolutely ensure that these projects contribute positively to the future of Newcastle. I hope we move forward tonight with a balanced approach, embracing the opportunities where offered, but remaining vigilant to the challenges. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Stubbs. Councillor Paul Waring.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations. I really welcome Capital and Centric's approach to retaining and re-engineering the existing structures, or some of the existing structures, for residential and commercial purposes. I think it's a really good example of sustainable development. And it's also exciting to see such creative solutions being implemented by this council in our town centre. The funding model is really innovative, and I'm sure has and will continue to facilitate projects that might not otherwise be possible. I think it's an excellent example of how public sector funding can go hand in hand with private sector funding. And I think that it's something that other councils would do well to follow. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Waring. Councillor Gorton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And may I add my congratulations on your appointment. As a member of the Planning Committee, I'm very conscious that I shouldn't be seen to prejudge the applications at all. But I just wanted to raise a question specifically on paragraph 2.16. Now, paragraph 2.16 states that at present Capital and Centric are in discussions with Homes England regarding a grant from their BIL programme to subsidise some of the costs of the project. And this paragraph also advises Council that Home England's have yet to make a decision. So my questions are these: how confident is the Council that funding from the BIL programme will be secured? And does the Council have an alternative plan should the decision go against us or we get less than we hoped? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gorton. Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And again, congratulations on your appointment this evening. I'm sure what members have raised and concerns that the officers are fully taken on board. I've read the report. It seems to be very, very good, well structured. But I would like to welcome the fact that the collaboration with Jules Brewery to incorporate a live music venue into the Astley Place developments. It'll add a vibrant cultural element to the project, and will complement the already thriving nightlife in the town, and hopefully will help the Bull's Head pub to become a go-to location. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Parker. Councillor Sweeney, would you like to speak next?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm excited by these plans. I think it's absolutely brilliant, especially the Midway car park. Again, I said it before, but when you're at the LGA conference, the guy in charge of Capital and Centric has not got a minute's rest from people talking to him, and he's not there for a show, not there for an hour, 2 hours, then going home. He's there for 3 days, and everybody's getting involved in. What I would like to point out is that the reliance on the Homes England funding, we're not reliant on Homes England funding. That is a bonus. If we get it, happy days. If we don't, we carry on. That was something that came quite late on. That's why it's not been totally agreed yet. I think it will get agreed, but at the moment it's not been agreed, which is why we've left it as it is. But that is very much a bonus. The scheme, it makes the scheme easier to run, obviously, if we get that money, but it'll go ahead anyway. But I mean, apart from that, Councillor Stubbs, I virtually agreed with every word you said. I thought it was the most positive I think I've ever heard you say things. I couldn't really fault anything at all you said, apart from the Homes England thing. But no, I think it's a tremendous thing. The funding is absolutely brilliant. They basically use us as the bank. Let's be honest about it. We can borrow money cheaper than they can, so we finance everything. They do it, and then they give us all the money we spent back including the interest, including if the market value is higher than they thought it was going to be, we'll get money back. It's just it's a great financial system we're going to use, and I think it's I just think it's so exciting for Newcastle, these three developments. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Sweeney. Councillor Whitmore.
I'd just like thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'd like to add my congratulations on your appointment. I agree with this. I fully support it because I think the inclusion of modern amenities like gyms and mini cinemas and residential lounges in the Midway car park and Rycroft developments will significantly enhance the quality of life for future residents. Those facilities will attract more young professionals and families into our area. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Whitmore. Councillor Richards.
Congratulations on your appointment, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say that I do think this is a good development for the town centre, but what I wanted to ask was, have adequate contingencies been put in place due to the economic climate at the moment and obviously the increase in the cost of materials? It's just, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Richards. Councillor Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Welcome to your place as Mayor. I welcome Councillor Stubbs's qualified support for the report this evening. I don't want to say anything to dissuade him from voting for it, but what I would say is that the abundance of caution, the sound of caution, the note of caution in his voice is the reason why we haven't had such exciting plans in the past. If I may, it is the reason why the Labour group voted behind closed doors to close Kidsgrove Sports Centre rather than purchase it for a nominal sum. This administration has the ambition and the vision for our town and for our borough that previous Labour administrations clearly lacked. And I would much rather see the Rycroft and the former Civic Offices site redeveloped than sitting on our asset book doing nothing. If it is anything is the job of this authority, it is to encourage that investment, to see stuff built in our town, to see jobs in our town, to see homes and a thriving town centre. I've got great confidence in the partner that's been selected for the project, Capital and Centric. I, in common with a number of members, I'm sure, have had the opportunity of seeing some of Capital and Centric's other work in our locality in Stoke-on-Trent, nearby to us. And I think Councillor Sweeney is right. This is a development partner, a social development partner, social impact partner that will see real results. And I say that in principle without referring to any of the individual applications for planning consent that are going to come forward. And politically, I'll say again something I've said before, this is the result, this is the upshot of a huge amount of investment from a Conservative government towards a Conservative council. And we know Labour wouldn't invest this money in our town. We know Labour wouldn't give us the money because they were in power for years and years and they never did. They're in government now. And I don't see the purse strings being loosened anytime soon. So the key that is unlocking this exciting new regeneration for our town is investment from the Conservative Party. And I'm extremely pleased to be able to support it tonight. I've been a member of this authority since 2011, and in all that time, we've been awaiting some elements of this regeneration. We've been awaiting the Rycroft, we've been awaiting something to happen. And I'm old enough to remember when previous iterations of proposed regeneration included retail-led developments, things that just aren't possible in today's economy. So what is being proposed, the mixed use of the site, is phenomenal, and I will be very proud to vote for it this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Holland. All members that wish to speak. Sorry, Councillor Edgingham-Plunkett, do you wish to speak?
Yes, please. I totally agree with what our our side have said tonight in terms of, we have got to consider the risks. I'd also just like to thank officers as well, and it is, very positive to receive this for your regular updates at the Economy in Place meeting, so we can all share our thoughts and any concerns that we also have on this. So on the other hand, I would like to also thank the officers for this.
Thank you for that, Councillor Edgington-Plunkett, which is appreciated. Councillor Tagg, would you like to sum up, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the comments from across the chamber. I think a positive response. And also, we have to go into everything in all the detail, make all secure decisions and back those decisions which we make. And that's right, that we all ask those questions and query them as well. I think when it comes, Councillor Stubbs, as has been said by others, is looking for some downsides. Well, I think we've answered some of those this evening. I'll answer some more now. Obviously, as Councillor Sweeney said, this is not reliant on the Homes England bid being successful. If it is, that will be a bonus towards this scheme, which we look forward to that. As for disruption in the town, I think we've got a good record of the works that have been going on so far to ensure disruption is at a minimum. York Place, soon to be Ashley Place, has been stripped back. There's a new car park being built. There's other developments been taking place in the town, the market refurbishment at the bottom end of the town. So I think we have that, are very conscious as it is a working town. There are businesses within there that need to continue to see their custom, and that's what we will be trying to do when we take forward these developments, these three developments in the future. I think on the point about whether we're building too many properties and people won't take them up in the market, etc. I think we've got our local plan, which is going through inspection. One of those is to build on brownfield sites for the homes that are required. We've set a fairly low housing figure compared with previously, such as in the joint local plan. It's 2,000 less than Angela Rayner wants to impose upon Newcastle, so she must think the market can cope with an extra 2,000 homes. We don't think so. We've set a lower target, but key to that is that brownfield development, and that is the Rycroft, that is Midway, etc. So I think we can be assured that we are taking the right steps and building in the right place, and also with a partner that can build the right accommodation that is required by the town. And that mix of accommodation, again, Mr. Mayor, whether it's over 55s on McCarthy Stone, whether it's young professionals in Midway, whether it's social housing on the Rycroft, this caters for all. We've got student accommodation in plenty at the moment in the town, so we don't need any more of that. We need that town centre mix for all. I think on the impact and obviously using the council as a sort of a funder for this. I think we've been through, particularly on the Rycroft failure. We had the HDD project where the private sector was going to come in and start building in retail units. It turned out those retail units weren't big enough to attract anybody to the town, so that scheme collapsed. That's where this administration came in and said we needed a different approach. Thankfully, through the previous government's levelling up money, we've been able to advance these schemes to where we are now. And now it's for the council now, with that confidence that has been built up through how we spent the town deal money and the Future High Streets Fund money, we now have the confidence to go forward now with our partners and build. And it's not just Capital and Centric, as we've said, it's McCarthy Stone, it's Aspire, and we've got Keele in town now as well, a partner there with the town centre premises and so on. So I think we can be confident that we're building it. I think comments that have been made relating to the music venue, I think really I'm excited about that, I think. And I think really it can be something which the town can really grow our nightlife. Newcastle's always been known for its nightlife. I think also if we can get the music venue off the ground, it helps the evening nightlife as well, which I think is all good. And I think what we have to do is think about the economic climate, of course, as Councillor Richards says. Okay, so that has deteriorated over the last 9 months, unfortunately. But I think our plans are predicated on delivering for Newcastle within our means, within the plans that are here, with a good partner to deliver, and have every confidence that we can actually do that. So I think, Mr. Mayor, I will sum up by saying hopefully members can support this. And as I said earlier, this is the next stage of that once in a lifetime regeneration of our town, and all members, I hope, will support it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. The recommendations have been moved and seconded. So now we will move to the vote on this. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Thank you. Against? Are there any abstentions? Members, the motion has been carried and I would consider that to be unanimous. Yes, the Chief Executive agrees with me, so that's one good thing I got right, so thank you. Members, we now turn to the next item of business on this evening's agenda, which is the update to the Constitution in relation to appointments to outside bodies. A copy of the report can be found on pages 61 to 65 of your agenda. Councillor Simon Tagg, will you please now introduce the report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think by way of context, just to talk about the review of the Constitution, if you remember a few meetings ago, we decided to convene the Constitution Working Group, which is a cross-party group that has met a couple of occasions. And we're bringing tonight just a number of issues relating to outside bodies that have come up over the last couple of years. And also, I think that last bullet point about endorsing our monitoring officer, legal officer, to go away and do that full review of the Constitution, taking into account updates to the scheme of delegation and those legislative changes, which there have been many. So we have that ongoing update of the Constitution so that it protects all of us and also allows the safe and mature running of the council as well when it comes to decisions and officer decisions and member decisions. But I think that the thrust of tonight's report is relating to those changes to the outside bodies, and that is that the appointments should be for a 4-year term. That just clarifies, I think in the old Constitution it did say that, but that was lost in the new version that we adopted in 2022. And also that portfolio holders should be appointed as of right to designated outside bodies that are relevant to their portfolio, and those are listed on the outside bodies list that we agree or goes through council, annual council every year. And then secondly, that members who sit on outside bodies should be asked to provide a biannual report in relation to the business carried out and is dealt with by outside bodies, and then obviously to report back, if appropriate, a couple of times a year. Now, I think in one of the early drafts of this report, it didn't say, it said annual instead of biannual, but that was a mix-up in translation from the Constitution Working Group into this agenda, which has been amended now. So I think the key point there is if appropriate, and of course we do have some outside bodies that may just meet once a year probably or whatever. But also I think the main thing for us to this as well as if outside bodies aren't meeting or it's no longer relevant, that this list of outside bodies should be kept up to date. And by asking for annual reports or biannual reports, we are hopefully being able to keep a track on some of the outside bodies which members of this council are appointed to. So I'd like to move the recommendations, but really emphasise the last one, which is that full annual review of the Constitution to take into account those changes of the scheme of delegation that come along almost every year and any legislative changes as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Councillor Stephen Sweeney, would you like to second the recommendations?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy to second that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sweeney. Members, we now move to the debate. Would any members wishing to speak please raise their hands high? Yeah. Thank you. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'd also like to congratulate you on your appointment tonight. I'd like to think that Barry would be looking down on us tonight, but I'm afraid as a fellow Gooner, he'll be gazing down on the Bernabeu and hoping that we make it through rather than here, and I think we can all respect that. Yes, just would like to say that this has gone through the Constitution Working Group, which is a cross-party group, and did some thorough work on this and was a matter of debate, and that we, as the opposition group, are happy to vote for this tonight and pleased to endorse this report.
Thank you, Councillor Jones, and I appreciate your words about our late mayor, because I know his interests. So thank you for that. Councillor Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Completely agree with comments from the leader and the leader of the opposition. The recommendation appears twice in the report. When it's put into the Constitution purely on a grammatical basis, could we have either the singular or the plural? Under A, it says appointees to outside bodies will serve a 4-year terms of office. That either needs to say a 4-year term or 4-year terms. That's a correction, not an amendment that I'm moving, Mr. Mayor. Very happy to support the recommendations.
Thank you for that, Councillor Holland. Councillor Tagg, would you like to sum up, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I'd accept Councillor Holland's grammatical changes.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. I'm sure we're all relieved. The recommendations have been moved and seconded, so we will now move to the vote on this. Will all those in favour please raise your hands? Thank you. I have to ask the question. It does seem to be unanimous, but all those against? And are there any abstentions? Thank you. So members, the motion is carried unanimously in favour of these amendments with the additional comment of the grammatical errors. Thank you. Members, we now turn to the next item of business on this evening's agenda, which is an urgent decision notification. A copy of the report can be found on pages 67 to 68 of your agenda. The report is here for information and for noting. Councillor Tagg, Simon Tagg, will you please now introduce the report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing other to say than just to say that move that we note the report.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Councillor Stephen Sweeney, would you like to second the motion?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy to second that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sweeney. Members, we now move to the debate on this item. Can I ask you to indicate by raising a hand if you wish to speak? Do we need to vote on that? Yeah, fine. No one wishes to speak, but members, we do need to. Sorry. Oh, fine. My apologies. I'm still learning the job. Members, there's nobody wants to speak. We now move to the vote. So all those in favour, please. Thank you. That again looks fairly unanimous, but I must ask the question. Did anybody wish to vote against? Any abstentions? No. So members, the motion is carried. Thank you. Members, the next item of business on this evening's agenda is the leader's statement. A copy can be found on pages 71 to 73 of your agenda pack. I'm going to ask Councillor Simon Tagg if he would like to introduce his statement. I will then invite members to put questions to the leader or the relevant portfolio holder. I will take each paragraph of the statement in turn and will invite up to 3 questions at a time before I ask the leader to respond. If I could please remind members, this isn't a debate. Once the leader has responded, there is no right for members to reply. Councillor Tagg, would you like to introduce your report, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Happy to ask that this be received and willing to take any questions and comments on the statement, either answered by myself or I'll nominate a portfolio holder. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Members, we note in paragraph 1 that Cabinet met on the 4th of February and the 18th of March. Do members have any comments or questions on any items from the aforementioned cabinet meetings that are not covered in this leader's statement? Okay, thank you. Moving on then to paragraph 2, which is about Wally's Quarry odour issues. Do members have any comments or questions on paragraph 2? Yeah, okay, fine, thank you. Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I welcome the leader's comments in this section. I think this is a period of reflection, and we've rightfully, over the years, called out the EA for their mishandling of this site as a regulator, but it seems that perhaps they aren't a regulator. They actually make a very good operator, because since they have been in control of the site, the issues have plummeted. So I guess the question would be, does the leader agree with me that this vindicates all along that the problems with this site have been down to a rogue operator that was unable to manage this site properly and cause misery for the residents of Newcastle-under-Lyme?
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Councillor Holland, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the Environment Agency is a broken regulator. It is a joke, a farce of a regulator. Credit where it's due. Now they're not regulating and they are stewarding the site. Things do seem to be improving. The Environment Agency is taking proactive steps to address the ongoing odour issues at Wally's Quarry. And in my view, the reduction in odour levels is a positive sign of progress, along with the ongoing efforts to monitor and manage the site. I don't wish to make members queasy, but there's a quote in the leader's statement from the Environment Agency that really sets out what a suppurating sore the site is on the landscape. Our contractors, this is the Environment Agency, contractors have made a small slit in the capping, which was identified as having been stretched more than we anticipated. This is to facilitate drainage of the leachate. What an awful and horrible operation. I'm glad it wasn't me making the slit. Question for the leader, I suppose, is does the leader think that these measures are in the long term going to significantly improve things? And is it going to make quality of life better for nearby residents in the long term? Are we satisfied that they are doing now what is necessary to get the ball rolling for the long-term restoration of the site? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Holland. Councillor Simon Tagg, would you like to respond, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for those comments from both Councillor Jones and Councillor Holland. I agree wholeheartedly with both of them. I think it's really key now that that capping is completed. I think what we want to see in the longer term is the restoration of the site. This site is closed. It must not open again, in my view, except to accept soil and rubble to carry out the capping and the restoration, of course. And also for the gas management, that is the long-term, sort of future of this site, isn't it? That gas management and drawing off the gas safely and not allowing any to escape, and that is used then to generate electricity on the site, which is happening at the moment. There's a long-term prospect of that on the site. And I think as for the EA, nobody more than me has criticised them in the past. I think now that they have that sort of role in the site, and now they're getting the contractor in to do, I believe, hopefully we'll see in the next few weeks, that restoring that capping and making sure it's fit for purpose, as was left by this operator. And I think using the bond money that was put aside and that can't be snaffled away by the liquidator, it is safe in the pocket of the EA to be able to use for this capping and future capping as well. But I think the long-term future of the site requires obviously a lot of investment, I think, and the Environment Agency, along with the government, I think, have got to make a key decision in the future on the long-term running of the site to its restoration. And I think from our role, I think we'll carry on doing what we've always done. We'll hold whatever operator is in charge of the site to account for any odours. I think, as it says in the report and the information that was given by the EA, the work that they're going to do may create some increase in odours by, as Councillor Holland said, by virtue of that slitting the the membrane and obviously draining that leachate may cause significant odours. We have to watch out for that. But I think we have to see that in the context of the improvement longer term, and in the short term, we've seen an improvement since the closure in November, and really since obviously the last couple of months, the odours have really reduced quite significantly. So I've been speaking to a lot of people out and about on neighbouring this site in the last few weeks as part of the election campaign, and people are relieved, I think, that this has moved into this phase now. They're quite annoyed about the company using company laws to be able to do what they've done and liquidate while still the parent company exists, of course, or the former parent company, and they want to see the improvement continued and the gains we've made kept, and this site to be no longer the issue that it's caused for many years. And for those people living around it and as far away as Maybank, Westlands, even as far as Beckley, Mr. Mayor, as well, we've had complaints. Have we not in the past? So I think it's going in the right direction. I think this is the most positive report in all the time that's come to this council as part of the leader's statement. I think what we need to do now is ensure that we keep that and we move forward on the restoration. That starts with the full capping of the site. And anybody that drives, down from Keele now will see all of that grey capping over the top. This is not an open site, and I hope, and we will be asking the Environment Agency and hoping that to ensure that this will never open again, other than to carry out that important restoration. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Are there any more speakers on paragraph 2? No? So, members, paragraph 3 is about the proposed creation of the Lyme Park Countryside Park. Do members have any comments or questions on paragraph 3? Councillor Northcott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and may I have my congratulations on your appointment this evening. Also, thanks for this report, Leader. The creation of Lyme Park as a countryside park, along with the new walking and cycling routes, is a wonderful initiative for the community's health and well-being, as is protecting the significant part of the former Keele golf courses for nature recovery. So far this year, the standard of cuts to grass verges has been a lot better than previous years. Can the portfolio holder thank the council's grass cutting teams and comment on how this can be sustained for the rest of the year? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd also like to put on record my thanks to the council grass cutting team. They've been doing a fantastic job. One of the issues we have at the moment on the former golf course, and I will say before I go into this issue that I do support the creation of the country park on the former golf course. I think it's a fantastic amenity, and I do think bringing in more manageable paths, run through it, all of the benefits of it becoming a country park will make it an even more usable amenity. So I think that is something that I entirely support. One of the issues we have at the moment is significant antisocial behaviour caused by motorised dirt bikes that have been going up and around there. I think a number of us have probably heard about this from our residents. Can we pledge now that when we establish the country park, that we ensure that all measures are taken to prevent the access of these vehicles? I say this because, having worked in other areas across Silverdale, in particular areas such as the mineral line, when those steps are not put in place at the start, it becomes an uphill task to try and get agencies to put it in afterwards. So with the knowledge that this is a hot spot, can we ensure that those steps are in with the creation of the park? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Councillor Holland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. a long time ago, I referred to former Councillor Snell, who used to lead this authority, as the former discredited leader, and I was rightly called out by members of the opposition because he was not in this place to defend himself. And as time has gone on, I've developed a perspective, which is that we would be grateful, I think, for his leadership of the Labour group in these days, because his successors, none of whom have struck quite the same heights as fondly remembered former Councillor Snell. But it is right, I think, at this stage, Mr. Mayor, to point out that it was under Labour's administration that the former golf course closed. It was under Labour that the former golf course failed to be reopened as a golf academy. I think that was the intention of the Labour leadership of the day. And the site has been left to run wild largely in the time since then. And of course, it was under Labour's joint local plan with the city that the site that we're now talking about, designating as a country park, would have been packed to the gills with 1,800 homes on that former municipal golf course. So my question to the leader is, should the Labour Party be ashamed of its record, or should the Labour Party be grateful to the administration for designating this country park and the planting of the 850 anniversary lime forest trees, which mean that 2/3 of the former golf course will be protected as best we can against Angela Rayner, who I am certain would love to designate the whole thing as grey belt and pack it to the gills with the thousands of extra homes that she and her government want to force on this borough.
Thank you, Councillor Holland. Councillor Simon Tagg, would you like to respond, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think on the point to do with the motorbikes issue, I think with Councillor Jones on that. I think also at the moment the police are targeting through Operation Lightning this problem, particularly in Keele, and also through the civic pride activity that will take place in Keele, again, even more focus on it. But I think Councillor Jones is quite right. If we begin to design some of the features of this country park, we should look into, as happens in other places, prevention measures for this type of activity. And anybody that's read the Cabinet report will see that the portfolio holder, Councillor Hutchins, is going to be working with officers on those plans. So I'm sure he's taken note of that. I will hand over to Councillor Hutchins in a minute to talk about the grass cutting, but just to respond to Councillor Holland, he's right in everything he says, of course. I think I will leave it at that. But just to say this is about doing the right thing. And I think, again, we've got to provide new housing within the borough, and we want that to be at a sustainable level. It's thousands of houses left less than in the joint local plan, which I believe would have gobbled up most of Keele Golf Course. This is a lot less, for developments, smaller developments, but 66% the central part of this site, which has got all of the pools, the trees, and the old fairways, etc. It wasn't sustainable as a golf course, a municipal golf course. There's been many attempts to do that over the years. Councillor Holland has talked about his great friend, Councillor Snell, obviously, and the activities he tried to achieve many years ago in the best of interests of the borough. And this really is now at this point the best interest of the borough to do this. And I think, as Councillor Holland has said, we're going to have to find more houses if we're forced to by the new government. And I don't want them to be on this Keele Golf course site. That's why we want to protect 66% of it. And also, I don't want to see that on the other green spaces we protected, that over 60 green spaces across our borough, both in the urban and rural areas. And we're bringing a report to the next Cabinet in May, which will see us protecting those sites even further. And look out for that report. It will go beyond even village green status. So we're looking to protect them for the longer term, particularly as we're in the environment of local government reorganisations. We want to make a decision that's best for Newcastle's green space, not what somebody in Stoke might make in future years.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Are there any more speakers on paragraph 3? Councillor Hutchison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank Councillor Northcott and Councillor Jones for the positive comments on the grass cutting. The highway grass cutting contract is delivered on a full cost recharge basis of £220,000 per year for the provision of agreed highway grass verge maintenance frequency of 8 cuts per year. The first cut started on the 4th of March, second cut is now being completed, and we're due to do the third cut just after Easter. We recently employed another 2 permanent staff, plus also 3 seasonal staff, which is good. 4 ride-on mowers were procured last year and are in use, and a further 5 have been ordered to supplement our existing mowing fleet, which once received are anticipated to create a reliable plant resource to undertake the contract to the required standard, frequency and the time frame. In the interim, our older ride-on mower stock has been serviced and brought back into use until the delivery of the new stock, which is anticipated at the beginning of June 2025. And I will be passing on the positive comments from Councillor Northcott and Councillor Jones to everybody who is part of the Street Scene team. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, Councillor Hutchinson. I think it's very important that people who are doing a good job have the comments from councillors passed on to them. So thank you for agreeing to do that. Are there any more speakers? No. Right. Members, paragraph 4 is about the expansion of recycling materials collected. Do members have any comments or questions on paragraph 4? Thank you. Councillor Edgington-Plunkett, please.
Brilliant, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say this is brilliant to read. It's also really good that, we are putting the information stickers to guide people of how to recycle and where then they need to recycle that too. So we've also got that step into place. And I know this is going to be very much welcomed by all residents of Newcastle-under-Lyme.
Thank you, Councillor Edgington-Plunkett. Councillor Bryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Expanding the recycling service to include flexible plastics and cartons ahead of the deadline is a good news and a great step towards further sustainability. It will make the recycling service more convenient for residents. Does the portfolio holder think it will help to increase the council's recycle rate even further? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bryan. Okay. Councillor Richards.
Thank you, portfolio holder. I think this is going to make a real difference to recycling. My question is, what actually happens, you might not be able to answer this, to these things that are now able to be recycled that weren't able to be recycled before? It's just a point of interest, really. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Richards. That's the 3 questions. Councillor Tagg, would you like to respond, please?
I will pass to the portfolio holder.
Councillor Hutchinson.
I just made a note so I don't forget anybody. I'd like to thank Councillor Edgington-Plunkett for his positive comments and Councillor Bryan for her question. Increasing what we collect is hugely beneficial in many ways. It will further boost recycling performance. I think we're on about 53% recycled and 47% residual at the moment. But this is going to place a greater emphasis on the recycling methods so that we can basically put more things back into the circular economy. It's only going to be a positive thing. It's also going to reduce carbon emissions and help with our net zero objectives. We're still looking for areas that we will pass on these flexible plastics in cartons too. But again, it's been done 2 years early. It has to be done by 2027. As was introduced by the last government when the simpler recycling legislation came in 2023. But we are looking for basically places that we can send the plastic bags, the films and the wrappers. And once we've got firms that will take these, then this will be income that's going to come back into the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hutchison. Councillor Grocott, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations. I think I'll just echo what everybody's just said there. And obviously, thanks to Councillor Hutchison and the team. I've seen in Cheston this morning that they've been out about. It's been really good. Once again, I think it's fantastic cross-party that we're actually supporting each other. Hoping that this goes forward into the future. Like I say, there's a lot of positivity we can take together. So let's look forward into the future and not into the back, into the past. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Grocott. Councillor John Williams, please. Sorry, I thought you raised your hand. My apologies. All right, are there any further questions? Councillor Simon Tagg, would you like to respond, please?
Of course. I think, did Councillor Richards get your answer to your question? You did. Okay, that's fine. Nothing further to add.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Yeah. Members, paragraph 5 is about the UK Shared Prosperity Fund 2025-26. Do members have any comments or questions on paragraph 5? Thank you. Councillor Jill Waring.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations. I'm pleased the Council has secured a further £1.5 million through the UK Shared Prosperity Fund to support community projects with a focus on helping vulnerable residents and supporting local businesses. Can the portfolio holder please update us on the development of Navigation House? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Waring. Councillor Gorton, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Very much welcome the reference in the leader statement to collaboration with Keele University to encourage the creation of local businesses. And it's great to see that the expertise that Keele has will be used to benefit the wider community. Now, what we have in the statement, though, is pretty broad. So could the leader be a bit more specific? Have any projects been finalised with Keele? And if not, when can the council expect to see projects launched? Now, I know that members of the Employment and Place Scrutiny Committee will follow the progress of these projects with interest, but will the council commit to publish a report which will be made available to all members, which records how the funding has been used and what has been achieved? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gorton. Councillor Holland, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I return to the song of my people, of a Conservative government that used to invest and a Labour government that is doing rather less of that. Obviously, it's welcome that we've received further investment from the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. Members should remember that this is money that was designed to replace the strategic European Union grants that used to come back to us. So instead of our people being expected to prostrate themselves in gratitude for having received a fraction of the money that we put into the European Union back, one of the key Brexit benefits is the ability to decide how we share our own prosperity. Labour members are laughing at me, but what I'd say to to members of the Labour Party is that in order to have a shared prosperity fund, we have to have some prosperity to share. And perhaps it is because the government has crashed the economy and destroyed growth in this country that the amount in the fund is smaller than it was last year. And in fact, we're not guaranteed to have anything at all next year. Such is the disastrous incompetence of the people in Downing Street. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Holland. Could I just ask that we keep order, please? Councillor Tagg, would you like to respond?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think the first one, I'll respond to the second two, but the first one is for related to Navigation House, so I'll hand over the portfolio holder, Jill Heason, to answer that one.
Councillor Heason, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I'd add my congratulations also. In response to Councillor Jill Waring, Navigation House, I'll do a bit of an explanation as well. Navigation House will fulfil two roles. It'll be a multi-agency assessment centre where rough sleeping or vulnerably housed individuals can engage with services, gaining advice, support and help. And secondly, it provides safe, secure accommodation for individuals ready to engage with services and ready to commence the pathway into secure accommodation. The project recognised the increasing number of people resorting to rough sleeping and the lack of any suitable, safe accommodation with the necessary support services available to offer them. Work is now ongoing to refurbish Navigation House with completion due later this year. On the 14th of April 2025, the Council published an invitation to tender for the management and delivery of the supported accommodation part of the project to ensure a provider is in place ready for the completion of works. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Councillor Heason. Are there any more speakers on paragraph 5, please? Oh, I do apologise. Councillor Tagg, please, to respond to the two questions.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think if Councillor Gorton looks at the Cabinet agenda, we'll find details of projects that are upcoming on this one. I think at the moment, obviously working with Keele University is one of our priorities. We've already worked with them quite a lot on the UK Shared Prosperity Fund and also on Town Deal and Future High Streets Fund, and we continue to do that. I think Councillor Holland has got a point. I think this fund was given for a 3-year funding committed under the previous government, and then it's now only a 1-year funding this time. But we will make use of that 1.5 million for the interests of the borough, as we have with the previous tranche of money that comes through the UK Shared Prosperity Fund. And I completely agree with Councillor Holland that this is that money that used to go off to the EU and we get a share of it back. Now we have all of it distributed within this country on projects which we wish to decide locally within the criteria set by the previous government and now this government. And we'll get bang for buck with this. And you can see from the previous tranche of money that we spent that we have done that. And Navigation House is obviously one which has benefited and will benefit again from the scheme, with that massively important role of helping those people that need and request help who are homeless within our town, get them off the streets into some sort of rehabilitation and help to enable them to relaunch their lives and also not to have that problem on the streets of our town centre. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Are there any other speakers on paragraph 5? No, thank you. Members, paragraph 6 is about the devolution and forced local government reorganisation. Do members have any comments or questions on paragraph 6? Councillor Beresford, please.
Yes, put that on. May I express my warmest congratulations to you, Mr. Mayor. I believe the Council's firm stance against the forced reorganisation, particularly merger with Stoke, shows a strong commitment to our borough history and local governance. When does the leader expect to hear the government response to our interim plan?
Thank you, Councillor Beresford. Councillor Gorton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I didn't really want to raise the amalgamation question. It's another aspect really in the leader's statement that I wanted to raise with council, and that is the reference to the strategic authority. And Can I draw members to the statement that's been put out by the chairman of the Staffordshire Leaders Board, Councillor Alan White, which has been posted very prominently on the County Council's website, and it reads very briefly as follows. There is a growing consensus that a memorial strategic authority will bring extra investment and freedoms to boost our economy further. This is the real prize we are working towards. Now, while there are many members like myself that appreciate the value and benefits of strategic authority, we don't want this body to be run by a mayor. In the light of Councillor White's remarks, does Councillor Tagg believe that this council should join this growing consensus and support the creation of a mayoral strategic authority? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gorton. Councillor Jones, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At previous council, the paper that was agreed to at this council identified potential merger options with Moorland, Shropshire, Stafford, Cannock and South Staffordshire. I wonder if the leader has had any conversations with those other councils and if he could update this council on what the outcome of those discussions has been.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Councillor Tagg, would you like to respond, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for those questions. First, Councillor Beresford, thank you for that. And it also really answers Councillor Jones's question as well. We are hoping to hear in early May a response from the government. That's what we've been indicated we will get to the interim plan which we submitted. So that will be when we hear more what the government direction on this, which will mean we can then have more discussions with partners. I would say again, in response to Councillor Jones, they were investigations of potential plans. As we said at the last meeting, we also would like to see, well, the recommendation was that the two-tier stay in place. That's what I wish to see, but the Labour government doesn't want that to happen. It wants to change, doesn't it? And perhaps come on to that in a bit. But I think what the key thing is that we put forward ideas, but our preferred, as went in with our bid and was preferred at the last council meeting, that we wish to see either the two-tier preserved or that it be a Newcastle unitary. That is still our position, but we'll see what the minister says about that, and that's really important that we wait and see what that is. On the strategic authority, we passed in our resolution, it was in our interim plan, Councillor Gorton, that we would support a strategic authority, but we do not see the need for a mayor. But at the end of the day, this is the Labour government's wish to have elected mayors to spread them across the country in a new wave. I think some of the prizes from a strategic authority, and now a strategic authority doesn't do the day-to-day delivery of services. It doesn't require reorganisation under it. The government have made that a part of this now. But I think the strategic authority, which all leaders from Stoke, Staffordshire, all the districts, including Newcastle, agreed in September 24, was a programme to take us forward on devolution. I think that should go ahead under the Leaders Board, but unfortunately, it looks as though the government wish to enforce a mayor upon us. So I think under that basis, I think a strategic authority is worth going for the benefits on that. So I think looking at what we're going to get from the government, I don't know what that's going to be in May. We will be reporting back to Cabinet in May and also through to Council, and also I think importantly scrutiny as well. We'll be able to have a look at what the government say and also other emerging proposals across the county. I think key, going back to Councillor Gorton's approach, I think the Leaders Board, and that includes the leader Alan White, have said previously that they are against an elected mayor, but they see the reality of what the government wishes to force upon us. And going back to what the government is trying to force upon us, I saw the front of the MJ magazine this week, which was quite revealing because it had a story about that London Borough, were complaining about the power which their mayor has. That's obviously the Mayor of London. And they've seen the setting up of strategic authorities across the country, which gives a combined local government voice as well as the mayor. And the minister, Jim McMahon, the one that's obviously trying to do the force reorganisation of populations of 500,000, was saying to London boroughs, well, why don't you learn from and set up strategic authorities? It didn't then go on to say that you must have populations of 500,000. He didn't say that because most London boroughs are around 200 to 250,000. So that raises the question why we are being forced to amalgamate into larger councils of 500,000, when London boroughs, such as, should I say, Haringey, which of course is on the tip of our lips because of our MP being a councillor there until recently when he was elected here at Newcastle in the election in July the 4th last year, they aren't being asked to reorganise or to become amalgamated into a bigger council. And also, of course, that council has been bailed out by for the tune of £17 million, like a lot of London boroughs. We are debt-free here in the borough, and yet we're being told to amalgamate into a larger council when others aren't being asked to. So I think that is an issue which needs to be addressed by the government, and hopefully our MP will take up that cause as well for us. So I think it's wait and see. We've put our interim plan in. It's quite clear on our what we wish to see. On all of the different parts, whether that's the strategic authority, whether that is the two-tier, or whether that, if we are forced to reorganise, what our proposal would be. And we all wait to see what the Minister feeds back to us. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Tagg. Are there any more speakers on paragraph 6? No, thank you. Members, paragraph 7 is about the Borough Heroes Awards 2025. Do members have any comments or questions on paragraph 7? Yeah, fine, thank you. Councillor Skelding, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and congratulations on your appointments as well. Mainly, I'd like to second the leader's comment in this statement and extend my congratulations to the worthy winners of the awards. I'd also like to thank, and I think it's important to do so, all involved in the awards and all the hard work that they've put into making this happen. To thank the sponsors. Without their generosity, these awards would never be possible in the first place. I'd also, in addition, excuse me, like to show my appreciation to the nominees who didn't make it through the rigorous judging process of the panel. Many of these nominees couldn't get to the award ceremony, and over the next couple of weeks I'm going to endeavour to try and contact some of these nominees and meet with as many as possible to pass on my appreciation for their efforts. I'm sure all members will join me in not only congratulating everyone, winners and nominees alike, but thanking them for their pride and commitment to their communities. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Skelding. It was very well organised, and I really enjoyed the evening. So thank you for that, Councillor Jones.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. On behalf of my group, I'd like to extend our congratulations to those nominees who won the awards and also those who were unsuccessful. Just simply reading down this paragraph, it's an incredible set of achievements, and we should be proud as a council that we have residents within our borough that are so embedded and have such great achievements, some of these quite young people as well. So I think this is a phenomenal sign of how healthy our borough is and something that we as a council should be proud of.
Thank you, Councillor Jones. Councillor Parker, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, totally agree with both what Councillor Jones and Councillor Skelding have said. Very, very, very nice comments indeed, and would definitely like to echo. The Borough Heroes Award is now in its 3rd year, and it is a wonderful initiative that celebrates the contribution of individuals who have made a significant impact on our community. Recognising these local heroes not only highlights their dedication, but it also inspires others to get involved and make a difference. This year's winners have again shown exceptional commitment and service, whether through volunteering, community projects, or acts of kindness that have positively influenced the lives of many residents. And furthermore, I am pleased to see Andrew Van Buren, if I pronounced his surname correctly, receive the Lifetime Achievement Award for work on promoting the legacy of Philip Ashley. Thank you very much, Mr Mayor.
Thank you for that. Councillor Tagg, would you like to respond, please?
Certainly, thank you. Echo the comments of Craig, as also Councillor Parker has said, obviously in its third year now. And at the event the other week, it was really pleasing to see, particularly on the young people's faces, their happiness and of achieving this award. And I would also echo the what has been said about Andrew Van Buren for his work, tirelessly to promote the borough's history, particularly through the Astley project, and also engaging with younger people and people of all ages on that. And really welcome the comments of Councillor Jones to his support of the awards, and just ask really that probably somebody from the Labour group could probably attend next year. Only had not last year and not this year when we've had the events, has there been any Labour members? So I would like to see that and let's show their commitment in that way by supporting the event. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Tagg. Saturday happens to be World Circus Day. And I have the privilege of being invited to go and visit the Astley Centre, which I'm very much looking forward to. Are there any other speakers on paragraph 7? No, thank you. Members, paragraph 8 is about the forward plan. Do members have any comments or questions on paragraph 8? No, thank you. Councillor Tagg, do you wish to say anything?
Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Members, that concludes the leader's statement. We will now move on to the next item of business. Members, the next item of business is the reports of chairs of the scrutiny committees. This is agenda item 10. The report can be found at pages 75 and 76 of your agenda. Reports are attached for the Economy and Place Scrutiny Committee, the Health, Wellbeing and Environment Scrutiny Committee, and the Finance, Assets and Performance Scrutiny Committee. These reports are here for information and noting. Please can the reports be received? The consensus is that they are received. So thank you for that. Members, the next substantive item of business is the reports of the chairs of... No, sorry, it's got the same item, sorry. So we're 12, aren't we? Sorry, we've just got a problem with the briefing. I do apologise. All right, okay. Members, the next substantive item of business is the reports of the chairs of the regulatory committees. This is agenda item 11. The report can be found on pages 77 to 80 of your agenda. Report, there's something wrong here. Can I just take this one? Well, that's not the regulatory committees, is it? So which reports is it? We've got okay, I do apologise to members for that. The two reports are planning and licensing. So can I ask that these reports are received and noted? Thank you. The consensus is that they are. Members, agenda item 12 is our next item, which is any questions to the Mayor, Cabinet members and committee chairs. I've not been made aware of any written questions this evening. Agenda item 13, members, is the next item to receive petitions from members. I've not been made aware of any to be handed in this evening. Members, agenda items 14 and 15 relate to urgent business and confidential business. I have no urgent or confidential business that needs to be considered at this meeting. That therefore concludes the business for this meeting, and in thanking members for their congratulations and patience, I declare the meeting closed. Thank you.
Bye.